со стола кедрового, чем ты хочешь закуситься. Моя родина Сибирь необъятна велика, как жених, так и богатырь, как невеста, ягодка.
Yeah, this is, we started our presentation about Siberia with this wonderful Siberian song. It is tradition in our festivals to talk about certain area or certain territory of Russia and certain historical event of Russia. This festival we would like to introduce you to Siberia. Siberia is a part of Russia. Winston Churchill once said, Russia is a mystery. Russia is a riddle inside of a mystery. Russia is a riddle wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma. So I'm from Russia. I was born in Siberia, I grew up there and I studied there. But even for me, Siberia, as a whole Russia is a mystery. Mystery inside of enigma. Siberia is a part of Russia. It's the biggest part. It stretches from Ural Mountains to Sea of Okhotsk, Pacific. On the north, Arctic Ocean and Mongolia and Kazakhstan in the south. If we go by Siberian Trans-Siberian Railway, we go from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok, and on our way is city is called Omsk, Novosibirsk, Krasnoyarsk, and Irkutsk. The beautiful lake Baikal, situated in Siberia, is the biggest lake in the world. Various beautiful sceneries and landscapes, from steppes and rivers and forests and lakes, and Siberian severe winters with good strong cold and hot but very short summers. Novosibirsk is the capital of modern Siberia. It's situated on Ob River. It's a big industrial and scientific city with Academy of Science and biggest opera theater. Novosibirsk is the center of Western Siberia. Western Siberia is a big region. It's the area of India, roughly. Novosibirsk here, Omsk here, but we start with Kemerovo in the southeast. Kemerovo, the capital of Kuzbas. It's an area of big industries, the coal industries and metal industries. Tomsk, the other big city, old city with a beautiful architecture, with the oldest Siberian university. The wooden lace of architecture and their own saint, the Fyodor Tomsky. They believed that it was a former Russian Emperor Alexander I. Tyumen, the oldest Siberian city, 1586, situated on the river Tura. And the biggest drama theater, Tobolsk, the second oldest city and the first capital of Siberia. This is an old map of Tobolsk of the 17th century. Tobolsk Kremlin, Tobolsk fortress. It's beautiful, a UNESCO heritage site. It is 18th century Kremlin, white stone buildings with a lot of churches and beautiful towers. Pyotr Yershov was born in Tobolsk. Pyotr Yershov wrote this beautiful Russian fairy tale, which is called Konек Gorbunov, or Little Humpback Horse. It's known by in the West by magic pony.
Once, beyond mountains and forests, beyond the seas, there lived an old man in a humble little village. And the old man had 3 sons. The oldest, he was thought to be a smart lad. The middle one was rather average. And the youngest? Well, the villagers had decided he was just a dumbbell. Long ago, or soon thereafter, misfortune struck. Someone began to wander their fields, trampling their wheat. In all their livelong days, the brothers had never known such calamity. They began to think. They began to guess. How to catch this thief? How shall we do it? And then it came to them. They must stand guard.
Ivan, you go over there and walk the field along its boundaries.
Meanwhile, we'll get settled here. Catch ourselves that nasty thief.
What stars? 1, 2, 3.
Pyotr Yershov
I could count till
is a
7.
fairy tale based on Russian and Siberian folk fairy tales.
And 6.
And Ivan the Fool, or Ivan the
On
Dumbbell,
my fingers.
turns out to be the luckiest one, who wins all the best things. You can find it on YouTube. I just give you a hint. This story, you can find it. It's called The Magic Pony. It's a lot of nice and beautiful adventures. This beautiful horse was just the mother of that little humpback horse. But the little humpback horse was the real magician. Not here, but the little humpback horse. But you can see it a bit later. Well, I thought I continue. This is a picture from the book. In Tobolsk, the oldest city, were born such a wonderful people like Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. He is the discoverer of the periodic law of the chemical elements and creator of the periodic table of the chemical elements. he was rewarded by the Nobel Prize for that, but he didn't go to receive it because he was too busy. Omsk is my native city. It's a beautiful city which is situated on Irtysh River, and two rivers and smaller river is Om River. This city belonged to the on the side of this city once was the oldest city in the world. It was called Ruskiwi. It was more than 100,000 years old. But Omsk is well known today. It's a relatively new city. It's celebrating this year 300th anniversary of this city. We celebrated this year. It was founded in 1716 by the order of Peter the Great. Fyodor Mikhailовich Dostoevsky is a great Russian writer, spent 5 years in Omsk, working as the prisoner in a hard labor camp. He was a political prisoner. And Admiral Kolchak is another interesting and controversial figure in Russian history who actually made Omsk the third capital of Russia, but only for 2 years during the period of the Civil War. It was from year 1918 to 1920. Mysteries of Siberia. So Siberia is situated in Asian part, but you probably see here, it's Grande Tartaria. It's a map of the French traveler of the 17th century. This Grand Tartaria actually occupies huge territory in the Asian part of the world. Another French map for Paris Academy of Science. It's Royal de Siberia here already. And this is Kalmyks and Tatars there. And this is a map of Anthony Jenkinson, the English traveler and big friend of the Russian Ivan the Terrible. Ivan the Terrible was not such a terrible, actually. He made friends with many distinguished people, and he actually promoted the trip of Anthony Jenkinson from Arkhangelsk to China. That time, and it is 1565, they were looking to the ways to China through Russia, or the Silk Way. And he gave him some guards, and like the Cossacks, who actually supported him and fenced off some robbers and people who were on nomads who could attack him. And this is a map of Anthony Jenkinson, with on the top of that is a place called Samoyeda. Samoyeda. It's a little nation on the north, but it's very interesting that big cities are put in a frames there, and there is a big city there, Molgomzir. Next one. Molgomzir, it's called. We say it Mangazir. Dictionary of Britannica, Tartary. Country of the northern part of Asia, bounded with Siberia, north and west. And next one. And we'll see how it was presented in the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's 18th century, and Grand Tartaria is still the hugest part of the world. Is it a mystery? Isn't it? It's strange, yeah? And this is a 13th century traveler, Italian traveler, Marco Polo. He wrote about his trips to China and India. And he met with a Tartar Khan. His name was Kubilai, but he looks to me like European name. and dressed like European medieval men. The other, the Kubilai traveled on, you see elephants and dressed like European people. It's the pictures from the Marco Polo book. This is the German pictures of Tartars. Look like Europeans, and these are Mongols. In Altai Mountains, they found the burial mound. Altai Mountains in the south of Siberia. They found this mummy. The mummy was about 3,000 years old, and it turned to be a young woman, probably the priestess. And she was decorated with beautiful golden decorations. It's moose here. Scientists, historians decided that this is very similar to the Scythian golden decorations. And you know who were Scythians? Scythians had a great empire in a modern part of Ukraine, like modern Ukraine. Scythian, it is Scythian word. And this is the Scythian Empire. This is Caspian Sea. This is Arctic Ocean. And this is the place called Kazaki Tatari, Karakitai. So we just started making connections between Kazakhs and Tatars. And Kazakhs were mostly Russians, ethnic Russians, but they probably had different faith, different beliefs. So they were not considered by Moscow, Russia, as their own. This is very interesting. And here it's a map of the 18th century, not very far away, but it's Scythia written here. This is the golden decorations from the Scythian burying mound. A beautiful, very elaborate work, but not all the gold. Look at this.
These figurines were carved from mammoth bones. A century-old craft, and during Tsarist Russia, bone carvers were more sought after than jewelers. Creations of this kind can fetch millions of dollars at auction, but as more mammoth bones are found and sold to collectors, only small amounts are being left for scientific research.
The damage caused is colossal. Today everything is judged by its value, so the whole mammoth skeleton, and there are very few around, costs between $100,000 and $300,000.
Some of the remains have ended up in this craftsman's studio in Russia. It's filled with mammoth bones, tusks and walrus fangs. Nikolai Peristov brought some of these things back from his own expeditions.
The material we have here is unique in its texture and colour. There's no permafrost here, and colours are beautiful, varying from red to brown, greenish, bluish, black, very warm, nice colours.
As mammoth remains are carved up or fall into the hands of collectors, learning more about the creatures who roamed the earth millions of years ago could be increasingly difficult. Basil Fahim, Reuters.
My friend Nikolai Peristov uncovered not only many mammoth bones, and he is a very talented bone cover, but he uncovered the oldest in the world prehistoric man. It's called Ultishin man, and his age is 47,000 years old. All right, okay. Now we are going to the other very important personality in the history of Siberia, Yermak Timofeyevich. Everybody knows from the school course. It's a page from the school book. The important benchmark in the history of Russian geographical discoveries is the expedition of Yermak in 1579 and 1589. Yermak started to get inside Siberia, and after the some victories over the Khan of Siberia. He conquered Siberia. This is one of the folk songs which glorifies the heroic deeds of Ataman Yermak. Yermak was a Cossack Ataman who is his 800 men went inside of wild territory of Siberia, and in spite of resistance and attacks of the Tatar Khan Kuchum with his 10,000 strong army, they managed not only fence those attacks, but then they even managed to seize the capital of Khan Kuchum and report to the Russian Tsar Ivan Grozny, Ivan IV, that Siberia belongs to the Russian crown. For these heroic deeds, the Russian Tsar Ivan Grozny rewarded Yermak with his personal armor, with the sword and very heavy armor to protect the body. Yermak was very proud of this armor. It was shiny, beautiful armor. But the war with Tatar Khan Kuchum was not over yet. He worried all the time. Once his small party of about 100 people got into ambush and was ambushed by the army of Khan Kuchum. They all fought very bravely, but only few of them managed to escape their destiny, the fate of being killed. Yermak was wounded and tried to get to his boat, but he couldn't swim in his heavy armor and he drowned. This is what this song all about. And now we will go to the more historical situation. It's pretty right depiction, but it's a bit romanticized depiction of the Yermak. Who was Yermak? Nobody exactly knows. He was born either in 1532 or 1542. Nobody knows where he was buried. No. This is the picture of the famous Russian painter Surikov, who was also Siberian actually, and it depicts one of the battles of Yermak. He fought over more than 2 men is Kultura, and this is Russia, Moscow during the time of Ivan IV, Ivan the Terrible. Look, this is the Stroganov's estate. It's a pretty big place. Ivan the Terrible was one of the most well-known Russian monarchs. He increased the territory of Moscow more than 10 times. He was one of the most educated monarchs in Europe, keeper of the great library of Byzantium. He was in long-time correspondence with Queen Elizabeth I. He greets the English traveler chancellor, and he fought many wars, especially in the West, and but his final most successful gains were in the east of Volga, annexation of Kazan, Astrakhan, and Siberian Khanates. The conquest of Kazan was the gateway to Siberia. To commemorate the victory, he built one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the world, the Kazan Cathedral in Moscow. The Lady of Kazan is the icon we are celebrating today. He fought with old aristocracy in 1564. He created the form of secret police, which is called Oprichnina, and they were guards of the personal guards of the Tsar, and the enforcers of his will. And in the struggle with the old aristocracy, he promoted new aristocracy, and he created the clan of Stroganov, who were just rich merchants, but then they became the aristocracy. They played a very important role in development of Siberia. This is their palace in St. Petersburg. One of the richest families in Russia. The world famous beef stroganoff. It's their invention, so you can try it today in our kitchen. And now I give the word to the Russian historian Karamzin. And you can read. Translate.
Несколько раз к берегам Дона и Волги даже высылали воинские дружины, чтобы истребить эту вольницу. К числу буйных волжских атаманов принадлежали тогда Ермак, Герман, Тимофеев, Иван Кольцов, осужденный царем на смерть, Яков Михайлов, Никита Пан и Матвей Мещеряк. Пятерки этих храбрецов, умные Строгановы, предложили честную службу. Пишут, что Ермак с товарищами прослезился от умиления. Мысль свергнуть себя опалу делами честными, заслугой государственной и променять имя смелых грабителей на имя доблестных воинов Отечества тронула их грубые сердца. Атаман Ермак Тимофеевич с товарищами собрал на берегах Волги 540 отважных бойцов. И 22 июля 1581 года усердные казаки разбили на голову Мурзу Бегулия и смирили Вагуличей. К дружине Ермака добавили выкупленных из ногайской неволи русских татар, литовцев и немцев. Строгановы дали оружие и объявили Ермака воеводой, а завоевание Сибири целью похода. Нагрузили ладьи запасами, легкими пушками и пищалями, взяли проводников и толмачей. И 1 сентября 1581 года Ермак под звуки воинских труб отплыл по часовой к Уральским горам, даже без царского согласия. Атаманы плыли 4 дня, вверх по быстрой реке Часовой, 2 дня рекой Серебряной, и по ней достигли Сибирского пути. Опустошив улусы и селения вниз по Туре, казаки столкнулись с отчаянным сопротивлением местного населения. Завоевание Сибири во многих отношениях сходствует с завоеванием Мексики и Перу. Также горсть людей, стреляя огнем, побеждала тысячи, вооруженные стрелами и копьями. В первой битве на берегу Тобола Ермак, стоя в окопе, несколькими залпами остановил атаку 10 тысяч всадников. Стычки следовали одна за другой. Число дружины заметно уменьшилось. Многие были ранены. Слепой хан Кучум решил стоять мужественно за свое царство и веру. Собрал войско, выслал племянника Мамедкула с конницей в поле, а сам укрепился в засеке на Иртыше, под горой. Ночью, накануне главной битвы, атаманы советовались с товарищами, что делать. Решили, что для них путь только вперед. Уже реки покрываются льдом, обратив тыл, замерзнем в глубоких снегах. 23 октября с первыми лучами солнца дружина устремилась к засеке. Неприятель осыпал их стрелами, затем кинулся в рукопашный бой, невыгодный для воинов Ермака. Казаки, немецкие и литовские воины успевали перезаряжать пищали и беглым огнем уменьшали ряды неприятеля. К счастью для россиян, раненый Мамедкул оставил битву, и войско без предводителя потерпело поражение. Эта главная битва решила господство России от Урала до Оби и Тобола. 26 октября Ермак торжественно вступил в Искеру на высоком берегу Иртыша. Город был пуст. Скоро явились татары с женами и детьми. Ермак их успокоил и, обложив легкой данью, отпустил. Сей бывший атаман-разбойник, оказав себя героем, вождем искусным, оказал необыкновенный разум и в земских учреждениях, вселив в людей грубых, диких доверенность к новой власти.
So you see that Cossacks, Russian Cossacks, were the instrumental in the development of Russian civilization in Siberia. And I would like to sing you the old Cossack song, which was translated into English by my old good friend, the senior translator of New Zealand Translation Center, John Jamieson. I think it's a brilliant translation, and you see it by yourself. Just imagine, it's winter, steppe, terrible cold day. The Cossack is riding home, the long way home, and he is talking to the elements.
Our Cossack arrived to Omsk fortress, where at that time the famous, it's just genius of Russian literature, Fyodor Mikhail Dostoevsky was doing his sentence of the hard labor. Fyodor Mikhail Dostoevsky was born in 1821 in the Ukrainian place, but he went to St. Petersburg, where he graduated from the St. Petersburg Engineering College, but he was always interested in literature. He was translating a lot of French poets. He studied philosophy and religion. He was a very religious man, but he was very inspired by the ideas of French socialism. And together with his friends, he decided that it's a good idea for Russia. That time it was a bad decision because Russia was a monarchy. And it was conspiracy, considered as a conspiracy against the Tsar. So he was sentenced to death by firing squad. 20 minutes before the execution, by the mercy of the Tsar Nicholas II, the sentence was replaced by the 10 years of hard labor in Omsk prison. And he arrived in Omsk through Tobolsk, which was the capital of Siberia at that time, and he was met by he met some Decembrists who were conspired against Tsar before him, and got some help from them, some $10, 10 rubles, but it was big money at that time. They lived in barracks, and this is the Siberian katorga. It was a hard time. He got sick. He was sick with tuberculosis, and he was sick with epilepsy. After each of the dead, so he wrote this book there.
Translator unknown. Chapter 1, 10 years a convict. In the midst of the steppes of the mountains, of the impenetrable forests, of the desert regions of Siberia, one meets from time to time with little towns of 1,000 or 2 inhabitants, built entirely of wood, very ugly, with 2 churches, one in the center of town, the other in the cemetery. In a word, towns which bear much more resemblance to a good-sized village in the suburbs of Moscow than to a town properly so called. In most cases, they are abundantly provided with police-master, assessors, and other inferior officials. If it is cold in Siberia, the great advantages of the government service compensate for it. The inhabitants are simple people without liberal ideas. Their manners are antique, solid, and unchanged by time. The officials who form, and with reason, the nobility in Siberia either belong to the country, deeply rooted Siberians, or they have arrived there from Russia. The latter come straight from the capitals, tempted by the high pay, the extra allowance for traveling expenses, and by hopes not less seductive for the future. Those who know how to resolve the problem of life remain almost always in Siberia. The abundant and richly flavored fruit which they gather there recompenses them amply for what they lose. As for the others, light-minded persons who are unable to deal with the problem, they are soon bored in Siberia and ask themselves with regret why they committed the folly of coming. They impatiently kill the 3 years which they are obliged by rule to remain, and as soon as their time is up, they beg to be sent back and return to their original quarters, running down Siberia and ridiculing it. They are wrong, for it is a happy country, not only as regards the government service, but also from many other points of view. The climate is excellent, the merchants are rich and hospitable, the Europeans in easy circumstances are numerous. As for the young girls, they are like roses, and their morality is irreproachable. Game is to be found in the streets, and throws itself upon the sportsman's gun. People drink champagne in prodigious quantities. The caviar is astonishingly good and most abundant. In a word, it is a blessed land, out of which it is only necessary to be able to make profit, and much profit is really made.
And this is the song. It's a very nice, beautiful, gentle woman's song. I sang the kind of rough Cossack song, and this is the folk song of a woman. I guess it's called The Sunset Over Tish River, and I think that Dostoevsky probably watched several sunsets, beautiful sunsets over the Irtysh River, and maybe he even heard this old song.
Right, this is Omsk. And Omsk was the capital of the Russian Empire during the time of and rule of Admiral Kolchak. Who was Admiral Kolchak? I just need to tell you because not only all the Russians know about it. He was well-known Navy commander who distinguished himself in a Russian-Japanese War in 1904. Then he was promoted to be commander of the Baltic Fleet and Black Sea fleet. But he was very important researcher of the Arctic. He made a lot of interesting scientific research discoveries there. He was rewarded by the Russian Geographic Society by the medal. He created the maps of the northern passage around the Yamal and Taimyr Peninsula. This is, and he discovered the island there, which is called by his name. And this is the island, Taimyr Peninsula and Taimyr Island. During the time of the First World War, he commanded the Black Sea Fleet, and he made very good victories and defeated the Turks, fenced them from Crimea and Sevastopol. But during that time, the Russian Bolshevik Revolution happened in Russia, and he couldn't accept the revolution because he gave his oath to his monarch, the Tsar. So he was promoted by his fellow officers to command the whole White Army, resistance army against the Bolsheviks. They seized the golden reserves of Russia, and golden reserves were kept in the Omsk bank. My great-grandfather was a soldier who was guarded these reserves. Though, in spite of some big support at first time, at first instances, in 1990, he nearly reached Moscow. Kolchak started to get some defeats from Red Army. Here is his love of his life, Anna Timireva. She joined him in Omsk, and in spite of misfortune later in the time of the Civil War, she actually followed him all his way through. This is the Kolchak oath to his motherland. Admiral Kolchak was, in spite of many controversies and political disagreements, he was one of the leaders and historical figures who actually was all his life loyal to his oath. And this is an example for all of us, for all people. So he was loyal to his motherland, he was loyal to his officer's oath. He was betrayed by the Czech corps of 30,000 who actually and finally he was executed. But I would like to sing the song, favorite song of Yermak, favorite song of Kolchak, which actually symbolizes for the Russians who actually lost their motherland, symbolizes a loyalty to their remote motherland. It's called "Гори, гори, моя звезда," or "Shine, shine, my only star."
It's a bit boring, isn't it? Is it boring? You wouldn't like to know that. It's too boring. Yeah.
Звезда любви, волшебная, ты меня одна заветная, другой не будет никогда. Заветная, другой не будет никогда. Твоих лучей волшебной силой вся жизнь моя озарена. Умру ли я над могилой, гори, сияй, моя звезда. Умру ли я, ты над могилой, гори, сияй, моя звезда. Oh shine, my wondrous star, the star of love, you welcome on. Here in my heart, you are there welcome, only one, no place for more. There can be none here in my heart. You are the welcome one, no place for more. There can be none. And at the end of our presentation, we would like to return you back to our times and to
sing the song about the wonderful, beautiful capital of modern Siberia, the city called Novosibirsk. I give the microphone to Tatiana.
Please welcome Sydney, Novosibirsk, Sonneborn.
Давно. Это была песня как бы гимн Новосибирска. Если вы помните, если кто-то есть. Есть на свете много песен розовых о больших и малых городах. Я пою о городе прекрасном, том, что дорог мне всегда. Качают головой. Где-то окна весело мигают, приглашая в город мой. Высота волна морского моря, хороши расследы над мной. Помни, я люблю тебя, мой милый город, мой Новосибирск. Идем по Красному проспекту, по аллее шумной листвой. Мне поют березы песню эту, солнце объясь со мной. Здесь мне ночью это сердцу дом, и мосты над быстрою рекой. Я люблю тебя, мой милый город, мой Новосибирск родной. Я люблю тебя, мой милый город, мой Новосибирск родной. Я люблю тебя, мой милый город, мой Новосибирск родной.
I would like to invite all our team and present it to you. And this is our presentation is over. And after that there will be break.